Hey guys, Indian here. We're back again with another movie review. This time we are doing Rambo First Blood Part 2. First Blood came out on May 22nd, 1985, with a runtime of 96 minutes. It was budgeted around 25.5 million with a box office success of 300.4 million dollars. I believe that makes this the most successful out of the whole Rambo franchise. This movie has a lot of ups for it, as well as some just good storytelling and just overall a good action film. Excuse me. The plot focuses 3 years into his sentence. John Rambo is asked by Colonel Stroutman if he will help find American POWs in Vietnam. This is takes place in the year 1985. The first one took place in 1981, but Rambo was not sentenced until 1982. Alright, so with that, let's get into the movie review. Alright, so before I'm going to talk about a couple spoilers in this one. Not a lot, but I think it's fair to everybody, you know. This one definitely sets the pace. Rambo First Blood Part 2. While I did mention in my last review that the first Rambo film will be my favorite, this one definitely sets the pace for the next two Rambo films, Rambo 3 and Rambo 4. I'll call it that, just to keep from confusion. This film, as I said, does set the pace for a lot of that. The feeling for the rest of the Rambo films. This movie storyline plot becomes very important in the next two films. So it is a very critical movie in the Rambo universe, you could say. You could say it's probably the most, what's the word I'm looking for? I've just went blank. It's probably the most, turning point of the Rambo franchise until Rambo 4. Not to say Rambo 3 is horrible or anything, but Rambo 3 didn't do a lot to advance his Rambo story overall. This film introduces a love interest for Rambo, which is the only film that this is done in. It shows Rambo actually looking past a life in Vietnam and getting through his past. The only thing I downside of this is it doesn't really show off his PSD, which I guess you can make to the fact that he's back where he feels where he's home. That's even quoted in this by Troutman. What you call, I can't say that word. PG, my apologies. He calls home. He's referring to Hades, if that gives you any clarification. And it's kind of a little disappointment that they don't really test on this extremely awesome viewpoint, but they also do end up making a pretty other patriotic American awesome action film, which is my favorite type of action film. So I can't do much complaining. But yeah, I thought I was going to have to dig into some spoilers. I guess I'm really not going to have to. While Rambo First Blood Part 2 is not my favorite, it is definitely one of... Now, hear me out. While it's not my favorite in the Rambo series, it's one of my favorite action movies, if that makes sense. Rambo 1 was more storytelling, and this, is, of course, sets the tone for the more action, blowing crap up Rambo, and that also added to his character. And it wasn't just an action film for the sake of action film. They actually did have a pretty good story involved in this, and while it was not as good as the first one story, it still was very enjoyable to watch it play out, as you could see the hope in Rambo's eyes that he might actually be able to move past all this. And a very interesting story that's not really going to be picked up again until Rambo 4. With that, I will reveal my star rating. I give Rambo First Blood Part 2 a 4 stars out of 5. As I said, it's not as good as the first one, but it definitely keeps up with the pace of the first one while adding some new elements that become, very important to the Rambo franchise and this movie. Just its pure storytelling ability, the next two Rambo films, in its path of trying to continue the story the best they can. By that I mean, I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but at the end of the film, Rambo decides not to go back to the America, and that sets up, for the next two films, a whole story. Even Rambo 4's plot, which is not a spoiler, is kind of Rambo's going home party. But well, I guess that is kind of a spoiler. Oopsie. Anyway, this is coming out on Wednesday. Rambo 3 will come out on Thursday. No, not Thursday. Friday. Rambo 4 will come out Saturday. And Rambo 5 will come out either Monday or Tuesday, whenever I'm feeling it will be best for let that review kind of sit there and manifest. I'm trying to rebuild the channel, so there's a lot that goes down into that. And I thank you guys for being patient with me, and me trying to, also edit up how I do my videos with these voiceovers and the sound effects. I think it's kind of good, and I'm kind of pumped up about all this, so I'm really happy to be doing these movie reviews. With that, like the video if you like it, subscribe if you're new. Until the next video, I will see you guys later. Peace.